It's time for RealAg Radio on Rural Radio Channel 147 on Sirius XM. RealAg Radio and RealAgriculture.com is your home for insight and analysis of the issues that are impacting your farm business. Let's get real and get connected with RealAg Radio. Welcome to RealAg Radio here on Rural Radio 147, Sirius XM. Shaun Haney, your host here on this Thursday edition of the show. Thanks so much, everybody, for making RealAg Radio and Rural Radio 147 a big part of your workday. Also, a big shout-out to everybody listening out there on the RealAg Radio podcast as well. Today's show, the Farmer Rapid Fire, is brought to you by Corteva Biologicals. We're growing together. To learn more, visit biologicals.corteva.ca. Encourage you to go to that Corteva website and check out all the biologicals that they have to offer, and of course the total portfolio that Corteva offers the market. And speaking of Corteva, we're going to hear today from Jason Smith, who's product marketing manager for herbicides. He's based out of Saskatchewan. He'll be joining us here today. The farmers in the lineup are Brendan Uruski from Manitoba. We got Billy Beaudry from Quebec. Chris Allam is from Alberta, and Aaron Bowman is from Ontario. Now, if you have any feedback on today's program, we would definitely love to hear from you. You can send me an email, shaney@realagriculture.com, or you can call the RealAg feedback line, 855-776-6147. I'm broadcasting today from Edmonton, Alberta. I'm going to be speaking tonight at a Cargill Market Sense event. Looking forward to that. I spoke at a number of their different events last year, and this is the first one this year. We got a couple more. I think we're doing Grand Prairie and also Brandon. So looking forward to chatting with a lot of growers from the Edmonton area, what's going on in the world of agriculture. We're going to focus a lot on trade and the Canada-U.S. relationship and how I see it. And if you listen to this show, you get a bit of a sneak peek all the time. But I've spoken in Cambridge and Regina this week. Had a great time at the Convergence Conference. That was fantastic. So much fun. Saw lots of great RealAg fans and audience there as well. So making the rounds this week, and next week we'll be down at the National Farm Machinery Show in Louisville, Kentucky as well. Bring on that tractor pull, baby. Full pull. And we start off the Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Corteva Biologicals in Quebec, and we're talking to Billy Beaudry. Hey, Billy, how we doing?
Hi, going good. It's a bit cold here, but no, it's not been too cold for the beginning of the winter, so it's okay.
Okay, like when you say not too cold, how cold are you?
Well, today was like minus 17, but not too windy, so and good sun, so we've seen worse.
Yeah, okay. So what have you been up to this week?
Well, I was doing maintenance in the shop there. I was on vacation last week, so just getting back in the shop and see what the guys did, and maintenance on the combine. We did a bit of painting job too, and stuff like that. Yeah.
So where did you go on vacation? Let's tell us about it.
Yeah, we went pretty much every year that I go with my wife. We go skiing, and so we went in the Charlevoix region, a bit up north, and we were hoping to have more snow, but actually it's pretty surprising this year. We kind of have more snow in the south than in the north, but no, we had fun anyway. We do some we climb the hill there with the skis, and then we go down and.
Oh, there's a name for that. What is that called? When you climb up and then you ski down? What is that called?
Yeah, well, I was kind of searching the English name there, but I'm not sure. But we have special skins there that we stick underneath our skis, and we started doing that I think 4 or 5 years ago, and now we really like it. It's fun.
So you don't believe in chairlifts or what?
Well, we do both. We do like 2 or 3 days where we climb up, and then we do 1 or 2 days where we do down and ski like normally. So it's different. Both are fun. So
yeah, I think it's called backcountry skiing or ski touring.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. I've never done that. I've only ever done chairlifts and stuff like that. But yeah, you've got you're in better shape than I am, my friend. You're in better shape than I am.
It's not a race. Like we just go up like on the pace that we want, and the wine is better in the spa after that too. So
hopefully there's like a beer stoop at the top of the hill, so you do all that exercise walking up. You can at least have a beer and then you ski down.
Yeah. That could be a good idea.
What piece of machinery do you have in the shop here today?
We had a bit of everything because we've been waiting for some parts and some special mechanic to come. But I have a couple of tractors. We started doing the maintenance on the combine. The boom on my sprayer too. We changed some bushings and so we're kind of all over the place. But it's going good.
Oh, awesome. And do you try to do as much of your own maintenance as you can? Yeah,
I'm lucky. I have a really good hired hand there that is actually even better than me. So we do a lot of stuff ourselves. We built the shop 3 years ago to have more space, and now it's really nice to be working and keeps the guys busy in the winter, and then we're ready in the summer, and I think it's worth it. And with the price of machinery now, like we just keep our older machinery, but it's really well maintained. It works good. So that's the way. We just repainted one of our first Magnum we bought on the farm. It was in 04, and so it's 20 years old, and so now it's looking like brand new. So hopefully it's going to make us want to keep it many years still.
Yeah. How's planning, like from a crop perspective, heading into the springtime here? You got everything kind of figured out and set in order?
No, it's going to be the next piece of machinery there to bring in there. We didn't start the planter yet. Kind of ordered a bunch of parts and didn't receive them yet. So that's the next step.
Any changes to the crop plan?
Not much. I try to keep my plan, I have a special rotation plan according to my soil types, and I try when everything works good just to keep it this way, so we don't really change with the prices of crops and stuff like that. So I find it easier to manage it this way, and it's okay. I can know like in 3 years and 4 years what I will be planting if I don't change my plans. But What
is the rotation? What are you growing?
We have two rotation types because I really have some different soil types. Some soils I have are really rocky and they're not as they don't yield as much as some others have. So on these ones we have a 3-year crop rotation with corn, soybean, and winter wheat. So this way we can do no-till in these fields and cut the cost down, and we actually increase our corn yields doing this on these type of soils. And generally here, I don't know why, but I'm more successful with corn and soybeans. So that's why I like to have a bit more corn on my rotation. So on my better land there, I'll do 2 years of corn in a row. And then I'll go with the soybeans. I come back with corn, and then we do soybean and winter wheat. So
I was just going to say, where's the wheat?
Yeah, so we have like a 3-year rotation and a 6-year rotation.
Oh, interesting. Okay, cool.
And this way on the 6-year rotation, we have a lot of manure available, so we're able to put some manure down every second year for the corn crop that way.
Billy, what do you have for livestock?
We have swine, but we like in the past there was a slaughterhouse there in our hometown. Like now it's away, but so it just grew some swine barns like all around. So there's a lot of swine manure. So we apply our own manure and we receive some from other farmers to put on our land.
And how has the pork business been?
Not really good. But now we're since must be 7-8 years now. Everything's under contract now for us. So we don't own the pigs. We just get hired by bigger businesses there just to take care of them in our barns. But it's tough. Like now, Allam last year, they decided they shut down the plant and they wanted to process less pigs. So now in Quebec, they're just bringing down the population. So a lot of farmers they just can't fill their barns anymore. So
I would imagine like the pork sector is one of the sectors really concerned about some of the potential for tariffs, as we were chatting about on the weekend.
Yeah. And once again, like I was talking to a good friend that is much, much bigger than me in the swine business, and he's all on his own there, and it's a problem. He's like, if there's problem with tariffs and Allam is making less money, or they're going to turn down to the producer once again, and everyone's going to get caught. So, yeah.
Interesting times, man. It makes you kind of really stay on your toes and try to figure out what's the best way to proceed. And obviously from a cropping perspective, or as you try to manage your livestock operation, because the commodity prices on the feeding side, they've been sort of trying to track up. I don't know. What have you seen from a cost to feed perspective?
It's kind of frustrating because it seems like they had a good round. The price were good. Feed was still not too expensive. So. And the forecasts were good. Was good for them for like the next year. And it seems like every time prices are good, a couple months after, there's something just coming up that brings them back down. So we'll see on the tariffs. But it would be sad because at least it would help them out if they can have a good year. And even for us, for grain producer, we still have a lot of grain that goes to them. So when the big business is healthy, it's good for us.
Yeah, well put. Hey, Billy, thanks a lot for joining us here today on the Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Corteva Biologicals. We'll talk to you again soon, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Today, the Farmer Rapid Fire is brought to you by Corteva Biologicals. We'll be right back right after this. We're in St. John's, Newfoundland at the Newfoundland Federation of Agriculture meeting, Ag Industry Symposium 2025. We've got Shelley Woodworth with Cavendish Agri Services, Dr. David Burton at Dalhousie. Shelley, we'll start with you. What's one piece of advice for improving nitrogen management?
Split applying. I think the days of putting all your nitrogen on up front, those days are gone with the new products that we have, with the weather events that we have. And I also think we need to advocate for ourselves a little bit better. Everyone here is doing a really good job, but the consumers and the people buying our food don't always know our story and how good you guys really are doing. So think we need to find a better way to advocate a little bit better for ourselves.
David?
Only use what you need and use it in a way that it's most effective. So more is no longer better necessarily. Some cases it is, but some cases it isn't. Use what you need and use the kind of new tools like split application, enhanced efficiency products that will ensure that nitrogen is used most efficiently and gets the job done.
At Vaterstad, we aim to be the world's leading partner for outstanding emergence. We're doing that through innovative tillage, planting, and seeding equipment that's optimized for your field conditions and soil types. We also offer industry-leading capacities to help you get the job done in shorter windows of time. It's all designed to give your crop the best start possible so you can maximize yields. Vaterstad, we look forward to growing together.
And we take the Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Corteva Biologicals, to Hampton, Ontario. And we are talking to Aaron Bowman. Hey, Aaron, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. What are you up to today?
I am actually freezing my stones off in Saskatchewan at Ranching for Profit conference here.
Oh, cool. So that's in Saskatoon, is it?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So interesting. So what was your big takeaway today from Ranching for Profit? There's money to be made in ranching right now?
There's definitely money to be made, and their course basically wants you to fine tune what you're already doing and hopefully make corrections and do a better job of your present business, and maybe think that there's other divisions of your farm you should be letting go or be changing. So.
I think, I don't know how long Ranching for Profit's been around, but I think there was a time where it was sort of like ranching for profit from the standpoint of just cutting all costs, right? Because the revenue was just not there. But we have definitely seen this cattle market really turn around, and it's a pretty good time right now for ranchers.
I can't complain.
Well, yeah. And you know what? Most people say it's about time, right? There's that part of it too. So, but. Yeah.
Well, see, with our business selling through the store, we kind of take out a bit of a market fluctuation. But yeah, it comes with its headaches, like we've talked before on this.
Are you seeing much? Are you seeing much pushback from people on the price of beef?
So far, no. Everyone knows that the price is up, but they seem to still want red meat and want it in a bad way.
Yeah, well, I don't blame them. It tastes pretty good. You all ready for springtime?
Oh, probably not. No, still have all the spring planting and everything to go through the shop, and just actually Dad unloaded a truck while I was in Saskatoon here, so the seed keeps pouring in, so it's filling up quick. And but yeah, no, I'm definitely not ready, and probably won't be for a bit. But anyways, we seem to always get stuff put together.
It's interesting, everybody's level of comfort, because, we talk to farmers here every week. There's the ready to go. Everything's through the shop. We got everything everything's lined up from an input standpoint. Seed, I got it all figured out. And then there's no, it's going to come together. It's only first week of February. There's a whole bunch of people in between. It's just interesting to hear all the different ways that people look at everything, and how where their level of prep needs to be relative to the calendar to feel comfortable. Is that you know what I'm talking about there?
Oh yeah, 100%. When our corn planter gets put away, I've usually gone over any of the quick visibles, right? So it's more of a pull out and then do a full review over it, but it doesn't take that long, you know what I mean? If you've kind of kept your maintenance up, I always think. Yeah,
fair enough. So I guess, how are you viewing this upcoming growing season? Are you pessimistic, optimistic, concerned, or feeling pretty good about it? What are your feelings?
Well, the market isn't as good as it has been, but there still seems to be a lot of play and movement, which I enjoy. Usually means you can market something as it goes up or down. Overall, prices, inputs are still reasonable. So yeah, I'm optimistic. The only thing I'm kind of scared about is we've had, I'll say, 2 damp seasons. So I think the other shoe's going to fall, and we're probably going to get a dry season. But we'll see. If I could tell you what the weather was going to be, I wouldn't be in farming. I'd be a millionaire somewhere sitting on a beach.
Yeah. In our Canadian Farmer Sentiment Index, we've looked at, what are you the most optimistic about, and what are you concerned about? And weather's on both lists in a pretty high regard. Right? Farmers are concerned about the weather, but they're also optimistic about the weather.
Right. Well, last year, we couldn't have asked for a better season. It's probably the best season I've ever seen on our farm. We got every timely rain you could ask for. The corn never even ran out of gas, and then when we were harvesting, it was dry, and the wheat was set back a little bit because of that. But holy moly, it was a phenomenal growing season around our place. Obviously, it's different for everyone, but we had a really good growing season.
And so, how do you sort of put that success behind you as you look ahead to this season, or is there learnings from last year to be applied to this year? I guess, how do you view some of the past data that you've experienced on your farm and some of the results? Well,
after last year, I should probably have irrigation on all my fields.
And there you go.
And I'd be in great shape. But I kind of just look at group everything together, and I select my hybrids based on what the field itself can handle. Even if I got all the rain in the world, I still have fields that are needing a variety that's more defensive or can handle drought, or I have other fields that, they can handle the top varieties, and I need a racehorse in there and really pour the coals to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So in terms of that hybrid selection, how many different hybrids are you growing on your farm?
1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 main hybrid groups or families on mine for corn alone.
Okay.
And soybeans just 1.
Okay, soybeans 1. So for those different corn hybrids, are you? I guess what's the difference between them? Heat units being a factor, or is it traits? Like what are some of the differences as you spread that out?
Heat units would be the number one. So I have a 98 day, a 94, a 90, a 93, and a 91 now. So I have four heat unit groups that I will be planting this year.
Have you ever messed around with
the plot? But.
Yeah. Have you ever messed around with multiple hybrids in the same field?
No. Just because. Oh, you mean like a multi-hybrid planting system, or you mean just putting different hybrids out in the field side by side, or what?
No. Like like the former, like a multi-hybrid system.
No, I don't. I know Aaron Stavanis, a buddy of mine. He's got that on his corn planter, but no, I personally have never even worked with anyone with one. So
does he know what he's doing, Aaron Stavanis? Does he know what he's doing?
Am I on the record or off the record?
This is the test. If he's listening, by the way, this is the test.
Yeah. When I get a text message to whenever this goes on air, I'll know.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love it. Great stuff. Hey, Kay, before we wrap up, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask all the farmers this week, just thoughts about some of the trade issues that Canada has, like concerning to you, just what sort of the emotional roller coaster you've been riding on?
Oh, yeah, obviously a concern, right? For me, it was, I think we let it get too far. It should have been nipped a little bit quicker in the butt. But anyways, we're here, and it looks like we've got another month by the sounds of it. Hopefully, our government can start to have a good communication, and hopefully we can keep the whole thing at bay. I was disappointed a bit with the States in the sense that they would do that to their closest trading partner and my opinion, friend. But anyways, he swung his bat, and he will again probably. So that'd be what I would say.
Yeah, I've been telling audiences in my speeches, this should be some motivation for Canada to maybe, be motivated to look at internally at some of the things that we can do differently too, whether that's interprovincial trade or diversifying trade portfolio, whatever. There's lots of things that have been discussed, but maybe a bit of a motivating factor for us as a country too. Yeah,
we're almost, in my opinion, 10 years behind, and a lot of the stuff we need to be doing should have already been in place, and
True enough.
A lot of those projects got canned, right? Like, if we could be moving our oil to east and west, that would make a big difference. But anyways, that is what it is.
Hey, Aaron, great stuff. Really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again as the growing season proceeds, okay?
Sounds good, buddy. Thank you.
Okay, we have more coming up here on the Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Corteva Biologicals. We're growing together. To learn more, visit biologicals.corteva.ca. We'll be right back on RealAg Radio right after this.
If you're applying a low-rate N stabilizer, you might be falling for a losing strategy. Low-rate products promise great results, but may lack the potency of higher active ingredient concentrations, so great isn't always what you get. Don't put yield at risk. Put your trust in proven solutions. Anval Nitrogen Stabilizer, Super U Premium Fertilizer, and Tribune Nitrogen Stabilizer from Koch Agronomic Services. These products offer higher active ingredient concentrations imitator brands can't match. See the difference at defendyourend.ca.
If you grow soy or edible beans in Ontario, you know that Sclerotinia white mold is no joke. Yield loss can be devastating, and timing fungicides can be complicated. But did you know there's a new seed treatment that can help mitigate yield loss? Start the year off with your best foot forward against disease. Ask your seed supplier or local Agrimart group to pre-treat your beans with Heads Up. Part of a complete white mold management plan, ask your seed dealer about Heads Up today or visit headsupst.com.
Through a growing storm of kochia, cleavers, chickweed, and more, there's a clear path. Introducing Oxbow, a versatile cereal broadleaf herbicide that gets the job done. Powered by Duplisan technology, Oxbow is your workhorse on resistant kochia and other tough weeds. With flexibility in timing, rates, and recropping options, your path is clear. Find your way on the path of least resistance at newfarm.ca/Oxbow.
And we take the Farmer Rapid Fire to Zbaraz, Manitoba. We're talking to Brendan Uruski. Hey, Brendan, how we doing?
Good. Yourself, Shaun?
Hey, man, I'm doing pretty good. No complaints from me. It's you got snow cover there where you are?
Yeah, it's snow cover, and it's absolutely snowing hard right now.
Well, I guess it is still February, right?
Yeah, it's a little chilly, looks like, for the next little while, and I think we get 20 to 30 centimeters of snow, so
yeah,
it'd be interesting.
What are you up to today?
Just came into Winnipeg, shooting my bow right now at the archery range, and to pick up some targets, so I figured I'd come in and head back home and go check on our baby turkeys that we just got yesterday.
Oh, good. So are you a big bow hunter?
Yeah, I try to, and shoot lots of targets.
Yeah. Shoot at the targets? Do you hit the targets?
Mostly.
Yeah, good for you. I follow this guy on Instagram. You probably do too. I follow that Cameron Haynes. He's like crazy bow hunter. Is he kind of like the influencer of the bow hunters?
Yeah, he's one of them for sure, I'd say, yeah.
What is it about bow hunting that you like?
Just the challenge of it. I had went a couple of years ago, I think that was 2020, rifle hunting, and had a deer come out 100 yards, and boom, done, finished. It's like, oh, well, this is a little easy, so I decided to pick up a bow again and start hunting with that, and ended up the next year shooting my first elk with one, and then ended up picking up a target bow now and big into shooting paper and 3D targets. So.
Nice. Are you getting ready for the 2025 growing season?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got everything basically all figured out, everything that's getting put in, and just little details left to hammer out. So.
Yeah. What are some of the things you have to figure out?
Just basically exactly the fertilizer and that I'm putting out. I think is about the last thing. I haven't sat down with the dealer yet and done that. I got all my chemical and fungicides all figured out and everything that I'm seeding. I don't think anything's going to change. I've pulled canola completely out this year.
You did, eh?
See how that's, yeah.
Okay.
Just tired of it.
It's not penciling out from a profit loss standpoint compared to some of the other crops out there, or what?
Yeah, it's just like in the last how many years, like 23 was a great year, but this year was not good. The year 22 wasn't good, 21 wasn't good. I don't even remember 20 already, so I'm assuming that probably wasn't that good. And we started growing hemp, so I've now thrown hemp a few more acres into that, and then pulled out on the canola side of things. Okay.
What are you doing with the hemp? How's that working for you?
It's the last 23 was everything was unreal, but even this year it was kind of like the yield, and just we had some trouble at the time being so wet and trails from the tractor and not coming up, and I just delivered it not too long ago and seen what we're getting for it, so it turned out, decent for how crappy, in my opinion, it was. So it's like when I see it, I was like, well, even when it's pretty crappy, I'm still making decent money.
Yeah. What do you have to do from a fertilizer perspective on hemp?
Basically fertilize it like a canola crop.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the canola, what hasn't been working out for you? You just haven't been able to get the moisture when you need it? Because I'm looking at a picture that you sent me last July, early July. I think that's one of the last times you and I chatted, and you're like, yeah, it's wet, and there's a sprayer that is buried to the belly of that high clearance sprayer. So it's maybe not a moisture issue. What's been the challenge from a canola perspective?
Yeah, more too much moisture, and just canola just seems so finicky. Like if everything doesn't line up for it, you just, you're not getting that 50, 60 bushels, and like even my wheat this year, I was in the 60s and 70s, and that's good. And my canola, a bunch of it was, below 20s, and then the other stuff was mid 20s. Like it just, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe our environment, you get too much heat and you get heat blast, and then I think we got a little drier there, later, and maybe that I just don't know. It just doesn't seem to work out so well. So stop banging my head against the wall and let's try something different.
Yeah, well, hey, that's what you got to do, right? You got to try to figure out what's the best thing for your farm. It doesn't mean that you're not going to come back to it, but if you feel the last number of years the numbers have been working against you from a yield standpoint based on the weather conditions, and you're taking care of the things that you can control, then I think that this is kind of what a lot of farmers are doing. One of the advantages that we have in Western Canada is there's lots of different options, right? You're not locked into where there's 1 or 2, 3 different things you can grow. There's a lot of options out there, and you're in the area we would call the Interlake, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you got lots of moisture. North Interlake.
Lots. That's usually more of our issue is excess moisture. 90% of 21 was a rarity with the drought. That hit basically everyone, and our drought was still 30 bushel wheat, which for us was a disaster. But you talk to some Saskatchewan people, and they're very happy with that, right?
True enough.
So it's all relative, and all the arguments, drought, flood, blah blah blah, and it's like, well, when I'm targeting 70, 80 bushel wheat crops, and you're putting all those inputs, and you get 30. Well, that's a kick in the pants. When you're getting 30 and you get 15, well, that spread isn't as bad. So it's all relative to what you're doing and your yields and stuff.
Okay, so what else has happened on the farm right now? What other decisions are you trying to sort through and make sense of?
We're finishing building up our turkey barn, and we got the babies in there now, so just dealing with all that and making sure hopefully everything gets finished before we have to move them into the new barn, and that's mostly it. It's got a little bit of wheat left to sell, and I think maybe a load of soybeans left or something, but everything else has gone off the farm already.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think, and how do you make sense of some of the the political risk that we've been experiencing here? As there's lots of talk about tariffs being applied on Canadian product. Do you try to not think about it, or how concerned were you over last weekend when it looked like those tariffs were going to be applied? How does that affect you as a producer?
Yeah, that's a whole issue in itself. Like you don't know which way it's going. First he said this is happening, and it's not happening, and it's happening, and you're reading on Twitter all of a sudden, oh, now they're changing next week, and then all of a sudden, nope, now it is, and it's so hard to follow and watch, and then like what is going to be the ramifications of everything, and I just try to stay chill and just see how it goes, and there's not much I can do about it, right? So let's just ride the wave, I guess. I really don't know. It doesn't seem good, and hopefully we can have something good of this come, and get some normalcy out of everything. Like it's just, we thought it was bad before, and then it come, and we're getting into a good part, and then just like, no, it's not getting any better. So what's next?
Yeah, it's not over, right? I think that's a very good message. It is not over. There's still lots to be figured out and sorted for sure. The trade between the two countries. I know I've heard a lot from a lot of farmers concerned about, the direction of the Canadian dollar, that, it's had some better days here, but, when we're pushing into the 67s, boy, some of those parts coming out of the U.S. or fertilizer equipment, that it turns your head.
Yeah, you'd think like on the grain side that those prices should help us, but yet I see on Twitter where one guy put up wheat in the States is at $9.20, and I my local G3 bid I just got email earlier was $8.40. Like, you have an 80-cent difference there, and it's like, well, what's going on here? How come we're getting so screwed up here on that? Like, I just not sure.
Yeah. Well, Brandon, really appreciate you joining us here for the Farmer Rapid Fire. All the best to you this spring, and we'll check you in with you as we get into the growing season, okay?
Awesome. Thanks, Shaun. Appreciate it. You have a good one.
Hey, that is great stuff. Okay, we got more coming up here on the Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Corteva Biologicals. We're growing together. To learn more, visit biologicals.corteva.ca. We'll be right back on RealAg Radio right after this.
Co-op knows your community because we live here too. Our teams are your trusted partners with a range of expertise to help support your entire farm operation. And we're giving back. In the past 5 years, Co-op has invested over $1.1 billion in the prairies through building, upgrading, and expanding local facilities. And we've returned over $1.17 billion to Co-op members in the prairies. Co-op, we're all building something for the future. Here for your farm, here for your family. Learn more at coop.crs/farm. Calling all Montana, Dakotas, and northern Minnesota growers, are you looking for a profitable addition to your farm that can deliver value beyond yield? The new Seed Omega-3 Canola Production System can help you unlock a guaranteed path to market with attractive premium opportunities and an active God clause. Contracts include first-in-class agronomy support and free on-farm pickup after harvest. Contracts are available now. Commit early to maximize your opportunity. To learn more, visit omega3canola.com.
And we take the Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Corteva Biologicals, to Edmonton, Alberta. And we're talking right now to Chris Allam. Hey, Chris, how are we doing?
Good.
Yeah? What's going on the farm here this week?
Hauling a bit of grain in the cold, working on some trailers and semi-trucks and everything that keeps breaking down.
Yeah. Do you like doing shop work?
Try and get in the shop a little bit every day, but it seems like every day or every year the bookwork piles up more and more. So you spend my mornings in the office and try and get in the shop by the afternoon,
right?
Get things sorted out and can make sure everybody's doing good.
But doesn't it come down to a little bit as well? Like, okay, where's my time best spent, and how am I producing the highest return for my farming operation today? And you kind of got to go through that decision-making process too.
Well, yeah, but the shop work has to get done if you don't have somebody who's a really good, left to right-hand person.
Yeah.
It makes it pretty tough to spend that time. The time in the office can have huge rewards, but if what you're doing or what's not getting done in the shop, that can cost you a crop if you so it's best to stay on both of them if you can. Just work 24/7.
Well, you know what? I think whether it's farming or it's other, if you're an entrepreneur in another industry, that's sometimes, they don't like to acknowledge this when you go to some sort of a meeting where they're talking about work-life balance, but it's kind of the reality for many of us that are entrepreneurs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the more stuff you stay on top of, the better off you are.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to take and put that cell phone down at supper time at least and get away from it for a bit, because it's a great tool, but man, it can be just draining, especially these days with Trump and all that.
Yeah, I read a book over the Christmas holidays about sleep. It's called Why We Sleep, and I've actually noticed a bit of a difference on a couple things that I've changed to get better sleep at night. And one of them was, really getting that blue light from the phone away from my eyes as I kind of get closer to bedtime. It's made a big difference.
Yeah, leaving it plugged into the kitchen is good, except that if somebody needs to get a hold of you or something, so you got to have the ringer on loud or have something hooked up to shock you if you've got somebody breaking in.
Yeah, and hopefully that shock doesn't come with every notification, because that would be a very disruptive sleep.
Just when canola's down $1.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you making out with planning, getting ready for the year ahead here from a crop planning perspective?
Really good. We yanked a whole bunch of acres out of wheat and a bunch of oats, which I think I'm going to hate myself in fall, but I mean, the budget looks so much better with a bunch of oat acres. And then things came back up here a little bit, but it's still it's tight. This is as tight as 2019, 2018 for us as far as budget goes. And we're ready to rock and roll. Price and chem is almost done. A lot of it's back in the shop and in the heated storage, and the fertilizer's all home, and seeds coming in, certified seed, and canola seed will be showing up in a little bit, I guess. So yeah, lots of stuff figured out.
So you have canola in the rotation?
Yeah, quite a bit.
So it's interesting because, we heard earlier from Brendan Uruski, who's in the Interlake in Manitoba. He's cut canola out of the rotation. I find this year that there's a real, I'm interested where the canola acres kind of where they end up dropping, because I'm getting the sense that this is really one of the crops that has some potential movement in it, depending on where your farm is located, because how you pencil it out is different depending on where you are.
I mean, you got to look at your historical average and what you can pre-sell some for. Wheat is the dog for us.
Okay.
So unless you get 80 bushel wheat, you're hurting pretty good. So you need some heavy wheat yields, and historical average canola still pencils for us. And especially look at the SCO and Nexera, that really pulls it above break even.
So when you do look at historical averages, Chris, how many years back do you go? Are you looking at the 3-year, 5-year, 10-year average? What are you looking at?
So we have good data back to 2013 by the field, and I generally just use a farm average when I'm budgeting, and then as we get into it, and I'll start how the crop looks. I'll change yield based on field and what I think that field's going to do, and I know what it's capable of. But we run a pretty solid long-term average. The wheat, it's trending up faster than canola, so we trend to use a little bit shorter average on the wheat. But the canola, we're using a long-term average, and it's penciling right now. So we're okay on that front.
As you look at some of those calculations across the farm budget, how are you feeling about the year ahead? What's your sentiment?
We need rain. we need a good crop. We need a good crop this year, I think, and we want to fill that pipeline of, G3's got their big facilities going and shipping out 600,000 tons of loop track, and they got their big terminal now, and so the grain industry is not in great shape. We need a big crop for them. We need a big crop for the break evens and to make some money and to pay these big machinery bills and fertilizer bills. So yeah, I mean, we just need to really bring this one home. We can't afford any mistakes or slip ups, and Mother Nature really needs to cooperate this year.
Yeah, it's really a tough one for a lot of farmers, because you're in an area where, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but like Edmonton, North, Red Deer North, that's an area that gets moisture, right? Like are you typically dry there? Although you're going to tell me you have been the last couple of years in the springtime, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I joke with Greg Stamp and the boys down, Tabor and that area. We don't really know what a drought is up here, other than 2002. We really haven't had a huge, bad, widespread. There've been pockets where you get a field of wheat that does 50 and 45, and canola does 35 or 40. But for the most part, we're blessed in that we get timely rains. Last July was not great. I mean, we go through dry spells, but to have a year-long drought is extremely rare for us.
But dude, everybody has a different version of drought. Right? Like,
yeah.
They do. No, seriously, they do, right? Like, what's a drought in Chatham, Ontario is different than Edmonton. That's different than Swift Current. That's different in Abbotsford. And it's like, sorry, go ahead.
If you're pulling off zeros and sevens, and if you're single digit yield, then it's a real drought.
Yeah.
If you're getting double digits, I mean, it can be bad. Don't get me wrong. But we're pretty insulated where we're at from the real stress that Southwest Saskatchewan endures and Southern Alberta can endure from time to time. The dry land, you say dry land farmer. I never really knew what a dry land farmer was till you talk to the irrigation boys, and then okay, there's a real difference between rain and no rain, or artificial rain and no rain.
Yeah, no kidding. Absolutely. Now, during the commercial break, you and I were talking about politics a little bit. I guess where's your level of concern or your reaction to so much talk about trade and tariffs and all those kinds of things? What's swirling through your head as that topic comes up?
Well, you hope it's posturing, but if it's not, and we really have tariffs, it could be bad. So I mean, using our budgets and pre-selling and making sure we know where we're at. But I mean, every time you open up that damn phone and look at it, it's just, you know, what's this guy said and where is he going and what's his real objective, I guess, is the biggest question. And everybody has a suspicion on what it is, but nobody really knows for sure. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch our ragtag team in Ottawa fumble it here, and looks like they figured something out. But it is super frustrating watching this. Why is there not a skill testing question to get in the office? I don't know. We need some electoral reform, is what I've come down to. I mean, it just has to happen. What they're allowed to do is just not. It's not kosher. We need to fix this program.
You know, I've been speaking to farmers across the country here in the past number of weeks, and I can, you know, I would sum up, like, you know how you can do like the artificial intelligence notes of the meeting, and it gives you kind of a summary of what happened. What I'll tell you is that there's a lot of people in farm country in Canada that believe, you know, we need to have an election soon here. Like, no matter who wins, there needs to be an election so that the government has a mandate and we're not prorogued and waffling around like we are. Although the Prime Minister did do a very good job over the weekend to at least get 30 more days. We'll see what happens after that. But, you know, we're still somewhat rudderless, right? That's a big part of the concern for, I think a lot of Canadians. I don't know. I don't want to put words in people's mouths, but that's just my summation.
Yeah, there's nobody at the helm or the rudder. We're just the whole thing is we're sailing downwind.
Yeah, just watch out for that iceberg or the cliff. So,
yeah, something like.
Yeah,
it's really sad to watch that we're in this position. It really is.
Yeah,
it's depressing. And it takes your love of Canada away a little bit.
Don't give up. Don't give up, man. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Well,
51st state, here we come.
I don't. Do you think that would happen though?
No, the logistics of it would be just mind-boggling. If we had 50,000 people and we were an island in the Arctic, you know, maybe that would work. We'll see what he does there. We're not first on the chopping block. Gaza Strip goes first, I guess, here. So.
Yeah. Well, hey, Chris, I really appreciate you joining us here today on the Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Corteva Biologicals. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you again soon, okay? Good luck with spring.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Hey, we'll be right back on RealAg Radio right after this.
I'm the kind of guy who enjoys his freedom. Sure, I have a wife, kids, and a mortgage. But now I have new On-Deck herbicide for wheat and barley. Thanks to a unique combination of actives, it delivers both superior control of tough weeds like kochia and proactive resistance management with, listen to this, complete rotational freedom. You can't tie this wild stallion down. Spray for today, plan for tomorrow with new On-Deck herbicide. Visit your retailer or Corteva.ca to learn more.
I'm Lindsay Smith from RealAgriculture.com. Join me Monday nights for The Agronomist, a 1-hour live and interactive show broadcast across YouTube, Facebook, and X. Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, I host expert agronomists from all over the country to give you answers to some of the toughest agronomic questions. Join us live or catch the replay Tuesday morning. That's The Agronomist with me, Lindsay Smith, Monday nights live at 8 p.m. Eastern.
And welcome back to RealAg Radio here on Rural Radio 147, Sirius XM. The Farm Rapid Fire is brought to you by Corteva Biologicals. And speaking of Corteva, we're joined right now by Jason Smith. He is the marketing manager for herbicides based out of Saskatchewan. Jason, how's it going?
Very good, Shaun. Yourself?
Pretty good. Where are you at in Saskatchewan?
So I live in Saskatoon.
A lot of snow cover there?
It's waned a little bit. I mean, it was, November was a pretty snowy month, so it was looking like it was going to be a long winter, but things have cooled down a little bit on the snow front and literally on the temperature front here in the last little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and we're kind of at that point in the year where, we're early February, but we know that the growing season is pretty close. And when we talk to the farmers here today, they're in those last stages of planning, making sure they got as much lined up as possible. One of the things that I think about that has really changed is herbicides used to be that kind of, you rolled into the local retail and said, okay, I've got these weeds, here's what I need to spray. That's really kind of changed. You got to game plan a little bit more than that at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, some of that came out of COVID where supply was much more of a consideration. And I think we saw more of a shift towards, customers and retailers really starting to try and be deliberate and plan ahead as to what the herbicide choice for the field was going to be. The other thing is that from a local retail standpoint, shed space tends to be a limiting factor. And they want to be able to plan what they need to bring in, what their customers are going to use so that they have it on hand when the customer needs it and not be trying to scramble around, trying to find something that they need this afternoon, right?
Yeah, and I think one of the things that also has changed is with herbicide resistance, there's a little bit more planning ahead in terms of the groups.
Sure.
As well. I think that's kind of a factor. I don't know. Do you agree with that? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I would. I mean, we've just recently launched a product that I would say that group consideration has come in very much so more than probably we've seen in the past. Certainly on broadleaf herbicides, which is a big chunk of my portfolio. It's really I would say it's probably been driven largely by kochia, right? Like kochia has turned into, probably for lack of a better term, Western Canada's kind of version of water hemp, where it's rapidly developed multiple resistant to multiple modes of action. And it seems to be driving a lot of conversations when I'm having conversations with customers. Now, not something I get to do as frequently as I'd like, but certainly when that occasion does arise, that is one of the significant considerations.
Yeah, you could say water hemp. You could say it's our version of Palmer amaranth. Now, thank goodness it doesn't have all of the characteristics of Palmer amaranth. But, it used to be just kind of like a southern Saskatchewan, southern Alberta problem. But it is really gained in acres, right? Yeah. This isn't now, longtime listeners of the radio show know I always moan and complain about the fact that my hay fever hates kochia. I'm very allergic to it. So I have always had a terrible hate for this weed. But with the resistance that has been developed and its geographical spread, boy, you sure hear a lot more people talking about kochia than you used to.
Yeah, I mean, I would look at, so we've got, TM he lives in Tisdale, but kind of covers that Melfort, Tisdale country.
Yep.
And typically, when you think of Melfort or Tisdale, Saskatchewan, you think deep black soil, not a kochia plant to be seen. And kochia is an up and comer there, right? Like it's always really been in the black soil zones kind of spread along the 16 highway. But in the last 4 or 5 years, it's really crept or marched quite a ways north. Yeah. And there's a lot of anxiety around it, right? Yeah. Some of it is that it's a new weed and, it's one that if you miss tends to stick out, right? Like kochia is not a small plant. And anything that survives a herbicide application is certainly quite noticeable in the field.
Yeah, good point. So, let's take the opportunity. What do you got in the portfolio to take care of kochia then?
Well, we've got a lot in the portfolio to take care of kochia. I think that's probably been Corteva's bread and butter for a lot of years. I would look at products like, we started with Attain way back when, but certainly a product like Octane has been very, very sharp for kochia control, been a mainstay in Western Canada for a lot of years. And one that we launched coming up on 2 years ago now is a product called On Deck. And it was really a game changer in the sense that it gives us modes of action that didn't really play in the brown soil zones. And it's a 27 and 6 combination that doesn't have any rotational restrictions. So you can get in there, you get that control of kochia and that whole kind of smorgasbord of other broadleaf weeds that a customer has. And you have that rotational flexibility that's so important to the brown soil zone farmers, right?
Octane, also the best channel in Sirius. Yeah. So I
hadn't thought of that, but yeah.
Are you more of a country highway kind of guy? Is that?
I don't really have Sirius. I'm not a road warrior like I used to be, right? So back when I was a TM and putting on 3 to 5 hours of windshield time a day, Sirius made more sense now that I'm lucky to put 3 to 5 hours of windshield time on a month. I'm more of a podcast, Spotify guy.
Yeah.
Listen to a lot of sports talk radio, and then a little bit of country. But it's more podcasts and talk radio than anything these days.
Well, wait a minute here for a second. You don't have to be in your vehicle to listen to Sirius. You can listen to shows like RealAg Radio and Rural Radio 147 from your laptop in your office. Now that you're an office jockey, Jason.
Seriously?
You can. Yeah, they got you can log into the website. They also got an app on the phone. So, we got some work to do here. But
clearly, I'm a bit of a Luddite when it comes to technology sometimes. So in my mind, the only way that one can listen to satellite radio is in the vehicle listening to satellite radio. You're blowing my mind, Shaun.
Well, you can and listen. You can also download the RealAg Radio podcast too. There's always that opportunity as well for you.
Right, absolutely. And I listen to a lot of those. Yeah, but that's a good raise. Certainly, when I'm in the office, that would be a good break for the afternoon to spend some time listening to RealAg Radio. So appreciate that.
Yeah, there you go. You and the rest of the audience that is out there. Hey, have yourself a great spring. It's great to chat with you again, and I'm sure we'll see you at some point during the growing season here.
Sounds good. Thanks, Shaun.
That was Jason Smith, marketing manager at Corteva, based out of Saskatchewan. Known Jason for a very long time. It is great to be able to catch up with him and see what's going on inside that herbicide portfolio at Corteva. Well, and speaking of Corteva, they are the sponsor of the Farmer Rapid Fire here on RealAg Radio. Corteva Biologicals. We're growing together. To learn more, visit biologicals.corteva.ca. If you have any feedback on today's show, you can send me an email, shaney@realagriculture.com. You can also call the RealAg feedback line, 855-776-6147. Thanks, everybody, for getting real and getting connected with RealAg Radio. We'll, of course, chat again tomorrow. Cheers, everybody.